influence choice by providing the right information at the right time. So we conducted a simple experiment, building on the research of Brian Wansnick and others at Cornell that indicates that, among other things, there's a very strong relationship between the size of the container and how much you eat. So we put out plates. So imagine you walk into one of the cafes that Brian described, and you see all this wonderful food, and you go to grab your plate, and in addition to the standard plate you're used to, there's also a small plate. We counted how many plates people chose. Which do you choose? And I will tell you that most did, in fact, choose the large plate, and 79%, in fact. I mean, you saw the food. It's amazing. So then we described the research. We told people a bit about this connection. We explained what was going on, and then we counted again. And we found that we saw a 50% increase in the choice of small plates over large plates, and a great deal of satisfaction with having the option. And most of our people agreeing that it was very helpful in controlling their portion size. So what's interesting for me here is that it's not always just enough to provide the nudge, but in providing people with information and giving them the power to make the decisions and to make them in an informed way has some substantial impact. That said, we also know that cafes are not the only place where people eat. We have at Google something we call micro kitchens, which is a terrible misnomer. There's nothing micro about these kitchens. It's where people snack. They're great, again, a gathering place for folks. Oh, yes. One of the great things about being in an applied setting is that, as I mentioned, we're informing action. And so when we did an experiment, the experiment was done, but our work was not. And so now small plates is simply a matter of, it's what we do. It's a program. And this is one example of how the small plates have continued to roll out at Google. All right, so back to the micro kitchens. This is how we used to stock M&Ms. Yeah, it used to be like, no, there are a couple problems with this. Now, here's the case. I talked previously about wanting to make choices easier. Here's an example where we wanted to make a choice harder. Not take it away, but make it something that you did deliberately, right? So here, the M&M, now it's cereal, but it used to be M&Ms and everything else. So something that wasn't so healthy for you was given equal weight and availability as something that was perhaps a healthier choice. And portion control. Anyone who's had the experience of buying bulk food, you realize that you ended up with far more chocolate-covered raisins than you probably intended. So what are you going to do? You're not going to throw them out. You're probably going to end up eating them. So similarly. So we redesigned the micro kitchens. Now you see the fruit is up front and center. It's beautiful. There are other options in the bins, but we didn't take the M&Ms away. We just made them a little more difficult to get to. So here they are in these opaque bins. They're labeled. And what we found in the 7 weeks following this change, Googlers in the New York office ate 3.1 million fewer calories from M&Ms by making the portions easier to control and requiring a more deliberate choice on the part of employees.